Hi, my name is Steven, and I make fonts as Arrow type. Welcome back. I'm still experimenting with some glyph forms to Lang Gothic, and I wanted to kind of give an update and then work through some of those on camera. I will be moving the experiments into the defaults because I think the experiments are at a good place or a better place than the defaults. So just to kind of demonstrate that, it's kind of a subtle change, but also kind of a huge change. Um, Actually, I'm realizing that I don't have. All right, these are just gibberish words, but it kind of shows what I'm working on. So, first of all, let's look at the flare. This down here is Lang original, and then this up here is Lang Gothic. Um, let's see. Let me turn off the quote experiment because that's another thing I hope to talk about. And yeah, so you can see some problems here, probably with kerning. Kerning quotes is like quite challenging, and I have to refine that still in these fonts a little bit. It's better down here in the latest Lang, but it really needs some work here and here. But okay, the quotes need work overall, and that's what I'm going to be focused on primarily in this next little sprint. Let's see. So let's turn on the new quotes, and you can see that so far, version 0.1 of Lang Gothic was using the same quotes as Lang, but kind of in the same way that I'm simplifying a lot of the ball terminals of the original, I think it makes sense to simplify the quotes. I'm not sure that these are the best possible form of quotes just yet. I think before truly landing on something, I should also try a much simpler version, just kind of like no curves, perhaps. But these might be what I want. They are kind of a first pass at it. By the way, I should probably show that these things that I'm thinking about are all variable, and you can also see actually a nice example that the original Lang goes a little further in either end of the weight range than Lang Gothic. That's partly because I see Lang as a bit more of a display family and Lang Gothic as a bit more of a text family. Though, if you treat it in a good way typographically, either one can work pretty well for either thing, I think. All right. So let's look at the low flare. You can see this in like the S and the G and the G and the A, the C. Um, so if you're looking up here, yeah, you can just kind of see that I also, since the last video, applied that to parts of the italic. Yeah, it's the kind of thing that will probably take several passes to really feel is totally dialed in. But you can see like the W here is a nice example of where, to me, this looks maybe just a little bit like 3% or 5% too um, showy, perhaps. I don't know. And this looks just a little bit more refined to my eye. Uh, these things are kind of subtle. I had really kind of gone a little too far into a category of like not having that flare and almost like a high contrast sans. I can't name them, but sort of what happens if you chop the terminals off of Dido or something. Yeah, and so this introduces just a little bit of flare, just to like, to me, like suggest monolinearity or like just a little bit of grotesqueness without being bell bottoms. Yeah, so that kind of talks about it, and then yeah, the simplified cap arms. when I have full flare going on, I think it balances best when the arms of caps have this chiseled appearance. But there's I like walking through Greenwood Cemetery, which is where these ideas originated. I, to be honest, haven't seen something with this kind of uh, wedge going on. That probably does exist somewhere in that huge place, but much more often, things are nice and rectangular and quite precise. So it does feel like this is better. Uh, right. So getting into it, let's go over to glyphs. And so here I'm working on the wedge commas and everything. I'm just trying to think for a second. I haven't actually like practiced this specific set of things in a bit, and I haven't thought through any sort of a script of how I'm going to approach this. So um, we're going to figure it out live. Okay, so I just did a whole convoluted approach to this goal of swapping the alternates to the defaults and the defaults to the alternates. And then I thought that was convoluted. Let me see if there's a good or better way to do that as a script. So here's what I'm going for essentially. The Roman does have it swapped and the italic doesn't. So you can see if, for instance, I throw on stylistic set 7 now, this gets the flare and this does not. But that's not quite perfect because in the way I approach this, which again, I will not make you sit through, not that you're made to sit through any of this, but I won't share it because it was not helpful. I went and I searched like glyphs forum and copy outlines between glyphs or something like this. I was starting to go down the path of trying to write a script, and I wanted to look up, okay, what's the actual Python bits that I would use to copy the glyph data from one glyph to another so that I could put it in a script. I came across this and read a little bit and realized, wait, this might be a little easier or a lot easier than what I was doing. So I'm still taking a semi-manual approach, but it's got so many fewer steps than what I was trying before. So thanks, Glyphs Forum. Right. So let me close out of the Glyphs Roman, and I'm not going to save the changes. And I've got my Git going. So by the way, if you're happening to use VS Code for Git, and it's kind of a big subject, but this is a great little toggle. It allows you to view it as like a nicer list. So that's pretty good. All right. I am going to revert these changes, discard these changes. Well, first, I'll give an example of what changed that I didn't want to. So the kerning groups were kind of overridden. I don't actually know where it is in here, but like the side bearing keys were kind of discarded. Oh, like metric right here. That is saying that the right side of the A should match the left side. Yeah, all of that was discarded. So that wasn't ideal, to say the least. It was getting rid of work that I didn't want to get rid of. So yeah, I'm literally going to, I could do like get stash to stash this work in case I wanted it back, but I'm quite sure that I don't. It was just another experiment. So boom, we're rid of it. And instead I'm going to do something like what I did here. So here in the italics, I'll just do it again and show you. All right, so open recent, open Roman. All right, so if we view all and we go to SSO5, we have this list of glyphs here. I am going to copy everything in here except for these two because they were just duplicated experiments. To make things simple, whatever. I don't want this one. I do want this one, but I'm going to mark it as non-exporting, I believe. All right, so I'm going to copy the glyph names, one per line. And what I'm working on is setting up a filter here. I can start that. List filter. Yes, please. And I'm going to call that Lang Gothic Roman SS05. And I think we can probably edit that list in a moment, but we might as well just do this now. Select one of these things, Command-Shift-L to select them all, and then delete them. And then let's copy this list. And I think it might, I don't know if the order matters, but I'll put these at the front. Okay. All right, so now I've got Lang Gothic Roman. I wonder if I can, okay, yes. These are slightly different, so might as well mark them as slightly different. And I probably won't even, well, I don't know. I'm not sure whether I'll hang on to these or not. I'm calling them the font name so they don't distract me if I'm in other fonts. All right. Here we are. And, okay, I'll bite. Oh, those weren't. Oh, I see. This is saying that we don't have the V and the W in the SS07 for the Roman, which makes sense because those are different forms for the italic. All right, so let's clear this out so we can see. Cool. We've got the defaults and we've got the SS05. I want to preserve the defaults to use them in a moment. So I'm going to say Command D, and that'll make duplicates. And so just to prove that, if I go here, you can see that I've got a bunch of duplicates. And these are the kind of flared, it preserves both master layers. These are the flared and other layers, I believe. Flared arms. All right. Let's go back here. Clear that search out. Now we're going to Command C, copy those, and then Shift click to select all of those. And then we're going to hold Option while we're in the edit menu and paste special. And I want to paste into the selected glyphs all data. This all data thing will do all of the layers, which is great because a few of these have intermediate drawing layers, which are important to keep. These probably weren't preserved with my prior approach, come to think of it, which is a huge problem. Okay, so let's just double check. I believe those were copied in, and it looks like it. Yes, all data collect does both masters at the same time as well, which is super nice. Okay, so now we don't want these to be the straight armed versions anymore. We want to have SS05 be the actually flared version now, or I want that. So I'm going to start by Command Delete, remove those, and come back here, search for those. Now I'm going to do the find and replace, and I'm going to find that, and let's pop it into SS05. Those are all the ones I just did. Cool. So now our SS05 should be showing these, and these should have flared arms. They do. Cool. All right, so that is the process. Let's do that also for SS07 just to get the hang of it. So I'm going to copy all of these glyph names, one per line. Where are we? And copy those, delete that. Yeah. All right, so make a list filter. We're going to call it Lang Gothic Roman SS07. And we're going to add the non-suffixed versions of these. Cool, cool. All right, here we are. Which glyph is it saying we're missing? Oh, SSO1. Okay, I don't actually want that in here, so that is fine. Let me edit this. Can I? Okay, I can. That's cool. Okay. Oh, I see. We copied that. All right. I don't know if that makes any sense, but okay. Here we've got, now this is looking as I expect. Except, let's clear that search query so we see it all. I might as well make sure these metrics are working. They're not because we're here. Okay. All right. I was just doing update metrics for a bunch of these. Control Command M. Okay. Stay focused. We want to copy these alts and paste special into here. And it is pretty important that the order stays the same. So that's why the setup is pretty good. Okay, and let's just check. Good, we've got our special intermediate layers, which is really nice. Let's spot check. Okay, these are both the low flared versions. And now we will delete these. Remove. Go back to... Oh no, I didn't. Oh God. Here's where I hope I saved at the right moment, because I didn't duplicate these before that. Let's check here. We could probably tell if I saved. Nice. So these are all of the flared arms, which we want to keep our progress on. And I haven't yet saved these flared. So I'm just going to close out of this, but first I'll try some undo. Let's see. It looks like we might have gotten the flares back. And then, yeah. Let's see. That undo seems to have worked. Not that you'd expect anything different, but undo doesn't always work as you want. Okay, so Command D for duplicate. Now let's copy these and paste special. Selected glyphs, all layers. Great. And let's, cool. So, yep, here's our flared one. That is a little too flared from before. Okay, so now that I did duplicate those, I can Command delete those. Let's come back here, search for 00. And I know these non-export ones are from earlier, so I'm not going to worry about those at the moment. We want these to be in SSO7. Cool. Let's verify one more time. Cool. Nice. So I'm going to Command S for save. All right, now, awesome. We have a pretty decent system. So I don't know if you were able to follow that, but basically I was just doing a little bit of list making, duplication, and then pasting glyph data, and then some find and replace. Maybe if I did have to do this a lot more often, um, and maybe I will do this, like now that I know that sort of pretty decent logic to go through, having done it manually, that is the time when I could move it into a script to make it really repeatable and super efficient. So that is something I might still do. Then again, this is already quite fast, so I don't know. I'm on the fence. Um, yeah, but hopefully seeing that kind of logic, maybe it was interesting or helpful in some way. And certainly it's hopefully more helpful than the footage I'm cutting out, where I was just kind of bumbling around for 30 minutes, doing it in a way that wasn't as clean. So, yeah, hope you enjoyed that. Hope if you're working on something creative or otherwise that it's going great. Hope you're having a good day. Thanks for watching and take care.